I've known Carl Campbell for a little better than 50 years. I first met Carl in 1959 when I was appointed to the Deaconess Hospital Board. During that time, we were involved in negotiations for the merger of the two hospitals. We were successful in doing that, and I give a great deal of credit to Carl Campbell for the success of that venture. Carl had a really good knowledge of healthcare. He was respected because of his business ability, and he was respected because of his interest in doing what was best for the community.
First time I remember meeting Carl Campbell was soon after he and his wife Betty started Parkside Nursing Home, and Ruth and I had started our company, Ballard Ambulance. He started out in a way that most people would never think of it. Carl was doing things like mopping floors and carrying bedpans around, and Betty was doing all of the bookkeeping and things of that nature. I remember from the very start that knowing that this gentleman was one of the kindest people that I had met, someone that I grew to greatly admire over our many years of having a relationship.
My first association with Mr. Campbell were giving him some flight training in his brother's Cessna 320 in 1978. And in 1979, became associated with him as he was one of the owners of Rent-A-Jet, which bought a Turbo Commander. And late in 1979, he and I were flying to San Diego. We were over Central California, and he looked down and said, "Is that Sacramento?" I said, "Yes, it is." He said, "I thought so. That's one of my buildings down there." Kind of one of my first understandings of the areas that he had businesses in.
Carl built first down on Monitor Street the Parkside 44-bed convalescent center, added to that twice, put apartments and expansion of it. And later in '68, he built this building, which is Vista 1. Convalescent center was on the first floor, and the next three floors were apartment buildings.
There are so many people who speak with reverence about Mr. Campbell. He has touched so many lives in incredible ways, and even every day you find him walking the halls and the apartments at Colonial Vista, visiting with people and giving his kind words. Few have I ever seen so compassionate.
Many years ago, we put into service the first licensed air ambulance service in the state of Washington. And there are a group of 5 of us, one of which was Carl Campbell, and the one who really made it work in the long run.
Executive flight started in 1982, and in 1995, we started doing the air medical business for Airlift Northwest out of Seattle. And I saw him really enjoy doing the business with where he was helping people with the air medical operation we were doing.
I was thrilled when I actually was able to have my father and Mr. Campbell meet, visit, and have a glorious Sunday afternoon touring executive flight. That is a very special place for Mr. Campbell, and I think it's, well, the word toy would be irreverent to express that way about executive flight, but he has a very special heart for the flying and all the care, and everything he does is first class. It has to be the best, the most safe, and the most thoughtful way that you could put a new concept of business together.
He loved airplanes. He flew his own airplanes as he was building buildings around the West Coast. And his passion has been airplanes. He really enjoyed the flying. It made it so that his wife could travel with him some of the time, and he really enjoyed that. Mr. Campbell's been such a blessing to us. As I see him, most of the people in the community didn't even know who he was until executive flight. It was probably the first real visible thing other than the nursing facilities where people didn't really meet him.
I think you'll find that Carl's ambition in life is to help other people, and he has certainly done that. I want to thank the Wenatchee Valley Chamber of Commerce and the Wenatchee Valley Business world for giving this Lifetime Achievement Award to Carl Campbell. My only regret is that Carl's late wife, Betty, could not be here to share in this great honor for Carl. God bless you, Carl.
Doing things for people was always one of Mr. Campbell's passions. I always, admired him for that.
My daughter and I experienced a very sudden tragedy in the loss of her father, my former husband and very, very dear friend. He passed away in Spokane, and before I knew it, Mr. Campbell had reached for his phone, told who he was speaking to that he needed a jet right away with 2 pilots, and they were going to be taking me to Eugene to pick up Whitney and take us to Spokane. Even that was a freezing cold January day. Mr. Campbell had written his private number to his cell phone on a piece of paper and gave it to me. I have it laminated in my wallet. He said if I ever needed anything, I could call him. And he's one wonderful man.
My experience with him in private, he is the same person as he is in public. Highly respected, cares deeply for people, is not in it to make things for himself, but is in it for what I think is the greatest service of all, and that's to serve other people. If you don't know Carl Campbell, you have missed knowing someone who in the greater Wenatchee area and a lot of areas is one of the finest people that you would ever want to meet.